It all started with the changing colors of the sky. A sun bleeding red drips on mother's face. The ashes arise around her. A broken goddess walking through bodies in search for loved ones. Again, they bomb them. Without a warning, they mercilessly harm them. She finds a friend of the family. They also got him. The explosions mutated his upper body. She collapses and cries, "Brother, I'm so sorry. Brother, I promise to bear your soul with me as God guides my family to safety. We will be whole once again. Brother, watch from the sky. I promise you, you will see." That night, mother and father talked through tears, shook by the fear of the evil coming nearer and closing them in. Father says, "This is it, dear. We have been planning our escape for over a year. We don't have a second to waste. Now is the time to disappear." So in the chaos of the night, in the midst of all that dies, Father knows that if they don't do this right now, they will all soon lose their lives. So at 4 a.m., he goes to wake the children. One is 9 and the other is 5. His heart breaks as he softly whispers, "Kids, get up. It's time." So they travel out of town with a cab. Mother and father only have the clothes that they wear. The bags are packed with necessities, for they don't know what's waiting ahead. All they know is that it was wise to take with them every last saving they had, because smugglers don't care about your life, just about how much cash you got in your hands. So after having paid the cab in the middle of nowhere, they wait with others for the van that is supposed to drive them all close to the border, where they again will have to scram. Turns out, the van is too small for the masses. So they squeeze in and some stand on one leg. Mother kisses her kids anxiously. They're on their way at last. And after driving for an hour, they spot an enemy flag, which results into the stopping of the van. Men being questioned, women hold their breath. Questions about when they are coming back and if they want to join their army. In the end, the men nod. And women pray to God that they will believe that, and unexpectedly enough, the wheels start rolling again. Sighs of relief in the enemy land. And a few hours later, of packed people trying to sleep, while they stand, they hear they almost reached the border, and that they now are left to walk the land to whatever end, as if the smugglers care. And this is where I break, because I know what is next. Sunburns from mass waiting at wasteland refugee camps, where there's barely enough water to just wash your child's head, and as you sit in the dirt of your trash bag tent, you decide you have to buy your way out if you want to move on again. And after having walked longer than your mind can comprehend, you finally reach the coast. And while you hold each other's hand, you and 50 other people get into a risky boat that was only designed for 45, but who really cares about numbers if you just don't want to die? And you know, even though I would write an ending where this family comes out alive, this doesn't happen with everyone. Because sometimes there's just too much water in the boat. And in the midst of a storm, it grabs you at the throat. Then you're forced to watch as people are being choked who just try to stay afloat. And only after the last children are swallowed by the ocean's floor, you try to save yourself before the water crashes your lungs' last bits of hope. And sometimes the darkness attacks you when you just try to focus on the light. Forcefully took by evil eyes, the source of existence sacrifices her womanhood so her children have a shot at getting out alive. When they strip her to her core, her instinct of survival causes everything else to fade. It lasted for too long until they told her she didn't have to suffocate no more. Evil took her, but now she's roaming the heavens with the brave. And sometimes you don't even make it past one ride on your first escape. When the van gets pulled over and this time you know you're not getting away, then they force you outside with other families to wait in a line like just caught prey. And the bags at the guns with the last prayer on their faces, imprinted in your brain a last memory before the gunfire opens, cold-blooded shots spirited away. But your screams didn't stop, and I can still feel your cries. And from the bottom of my being, I apologize for this world that calls you luck seekers, because they don't realize you don't take such a dangerous journey just for the hell of the ride, because you actually go through hell or you die. And when you run, the destroying warfare shifts to the mind. When you don't even ask yourself anymore if you want to try, you suffer and you crawl, and only when you can breathe, you dare to think back of what's left behind. No looking back when you try not to die. And now it's the time for our world to look you in the eyes. To show we will never forget about the paths that took so many lives, to acknowledge the biggest fight and flight a human can endure in his life, and to realize for once it's not about fucking money. It's about life. We create the victims and the horrors, all because we refuse to fully open our hearts, our homes, and our borders. So this is where I start. By making the world understand our story, make them understand why we are mourning every single day, how many die on the way, how we are all nothing but humans at the end of the day. And how I wish this world could just open a tiny crack in our heart and for once just say, you are welcome here. You are welcome here.